It was exactly May 25, 2011, on the last episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show. And she was asked, what is the greatest adventure in life? And she responded, the greatest adventure in life is to live the life of your dreams. Hello, welcome to Clockwise, produced by Netisens ICT. On this sanctuary of greatness, we discuss technology, career, and lifestyle. My name is Providence Essien, and I'm your host. Today, I'm very excited because I have a very interesting guest. We're having a very interesting conversation that will interest you. My guest is a delight to listen to anytime, any day, and I'm happy, and also know you're happy. But I know you're also anxious to meet my guest. But as usual, you meet my guest after this time out. Thank you. Welcome back. Like I said earlier, my guest is an interesting person to listen to. He's vast in knowledge. Like, he's different things to different persons. He's a professional speaker. He's a mentor, a consultant. Currently, a brand ambassador of Everyday Foods and Tantalizer. Now, he's a trained communicator. Like, he specializes in public relations and marketing communication. You can also call him an author because he has two great books. Dare It, Do It, and This Is Your Moment. Now, of all of them, he is a 2023 Edward Murphy honoree, right? Yes. That's the highest honor given by the United States of America Department of State to practicing journalists and also practicing media professional. My guest is the Special Assistant to the Akwa Ibom State Governor on Social Reorientation. Now, without further ado, with a resounding virtual round of applause, please help me welcome Aniekeme Finbarr.
Thank you. Providence, thank you. I feel very flattered and I feel honored to be here to also share ideas and to meet with you and also share your own ideas.
Honestly, today is actually an evidence that dreams come true. Like something reminded me of something. It's like, if a man can actually conceive it, he can achieve it. Because on several occasions, I've imagined you sitting here and I actually conducting this interview.
And on all those several occasions, I've also imagined sitting here. Despite the fact that the podcast industry has been gravely bastardized. But you see, that's why integrity is very key in professionalism. So I felt that safety, felt that I'm in a good place to sit with you and to have this discourse, and I'm absolutely excited about it.
I'm more excited. You're welcome.
Very excited.
What we do is that we have a particular tradition. We allow our guests on the show to tell us a little more about themselves, apart from the things we've said about them. So, who is Aniekeme Finbarr?
Wow, in writing CVs these days, they tell you have to tailor your CV to the nature of work that you're actually applying for. Because a man can be several things to several persons. So I don't even know who is watching now and what the person seeks to know. But we've tried to be several things in several different ways to people. I'm a professional speaker, trained communicator. And of course, that implies I've been to university, studied communication arts. And I've spent a couple of years working in the industry as a radio broadcaster, as an on-air personality. I also was into the sports beat. I was sports editor, covered, the sports field for a number of radio stations. Also done independent productions. Worked at Bush House, Nigeria, and subsequently also have done stuff on my own. I've also ventured into the print media space, writing, offering articles and opinions for national and international newspapers. I've also done a lot of television, particularly analysis also. So we have crisscrossed the media space. I've also been involved in public relations and more recently in marketing. And it's been a very cruise ride across these other fields. And of course, not forgetting the aspect that I've also consulted for a couple of companies and CEOs and governments. I have worked for the Akwa Ibom State government in the last 9 years, serving the last two governors of our state, the immediate past governor for 8 years as his special assistant on new media, and subsequently the new governor of Akwa Ibom State brought me out of that retirement and said, come on, we still need your services. So I'm currently serving as a special assistant on social reorientation, and that office implies a lot of advocacy and the use of communication tools and skills to impact our diverse audiences with different messaging for the good of the society. I am male, I am Nigerian, I'm married, and there are several things, but I think with these few points of mine, I'll just try to give an abridged version for the audience, person watching, to have a small sneak peek of who we are.
Today we are discussing branding and social media. But before we go there, I want to ask one question. Why is it that you always are standing in every form of... I know when you were on radio, you were known as the Prime Minister of the Airways.
Oh, yeah.
In every media platform, from TV to radio to social media. I can say you are the most sensational influencer now in this part of the world. Like,
well, I take encomiums these days. I take pluses these days. I don't reject them. I don't tell you thank you for praising me. I soak it in because it's good for my mental health. We always try to be our best. I gave myself the name the Prime Minister of the Airwaves on my very first day on radio, and it was an awful outing. It was a terrible outing, but this is it. It is what you tell people you are that they would take you for. And if you do not do it for yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. I remember walking into a radio station and introducing myself as the Prime Minister of the Airwaves. Wow. One very old broadcaster after the program came out and said, "Hey, young man, what a name. Does it mean that all of us are under you now?" I said, "Well, those are your words." But we saw a future where we would be able to hold our own, where we'll be able to be masters in our own field, where we'll be able to answer our surnames and account for ourselves creditably. And I'm happy that we're living in that future, and we'll continue to impact lives. But above all, beyond the personal projection, the essence is that at every point in time, for every age, you have a message for the people. Once you have a message and you have an audience that is willing to hear that message, there is always a transaction. That's why we're able to grow our social capital, the social media audience, because we have the content that people love to hear. I'm particularly about the audience. I don't care about the numbers, but I just try to reach out to the largest number of people who need the kind of messaging that we carry, not necessarily for everybody, but the kind of audience that is serious enough to digest serious stuff.
I see many persons have seen social media as a vice. Now, I don't know if you're part of the school of thought that have seen social media as one of the biggest gifts to mankind in the 21st century. If that's true, why?
The social media is one of the most phenomenal developments in this age and season, because it offers an opportunity for you to sit in the comfort of any place in the world and reach out to hundreds and thousands, millions and billions of people, simultaneously at the same time, at almost no cost, because almost all the platforms, apart from your subscription and the fact that you have to own an internet-enabled device, I mean, every other thing is almost virtually free. So you have an opportunity to address the world from the comfort of wherever you are. It's an amazing development. It's a development we should be eternally grateful that we live in this age and times. But that also comes with very huge responsibilities, because it means that whatsoever you're able to put out, you may not be lucky enough to retrieve them. And like they say, the internet never forgets. So what is meant for good can actually turn out to be very disastrous, very catastrophic, and many people have not been able to survive the aftermath of wrongful projection of themselves on the social media space. So it's both virtue and a vice. It depends on your unique ability to manipulate the platforms and your ability to use it. And that's why social media itself is a cause for study. It's a cause for research. It's a cause for you to follow the people who have mastered the algorithms, who have mastered the platforms, who have mastered the audiences, and who have mastered, most importantly, the psychology of the people who use these platforms at different times. And it's something that we've also spent time in courses and certifications to learn, because it is vast, it is unpredictable, it is not static, it continues to evolve. Nobody can say I know Facebook or Instagram too much. Everything changes per second, and I think even the owners of the platforms don't know their platforms enough, because the users constantly find ways of beating them to their game.
Yeah, it's true, that's true. Now, in this era where everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard, there is a lot of noise. Like, attention now is what everybody wants. People are going to the extreme to actually drag attention to themselves, to their page. How do you stay sane in this kind of environment? How do you differentiate between social media becoming a vice and a tool for productivity, especially in this era?
That takes us to personal branding. Branding is an intentional art. It is the art of creating a unique image, a unique projection of either yourself or your good or your product or your service to a desired audience. And what many persons do not know is that branding is both present and futuristic. What you project of yourself today would have some level of impact on you tomorrow. I just watched an on-air personality confess that some of the things that she did 5 years ago, she regrets the fact that she had to do them and did not envisage that it will affect her current personality, because she didn't see herself as going far in life to this extent, that a video of herself that is already out in the public space ought not to have been out. So that's what many people don't take into consideration. We only do things in the now. We don't know that there is a future. There is a future of you as a senator. There's a future of you as a president. There's a future of you as an influential person, where you would have to be responsible for every action that you take today. So we find a lot of young people who need the attention, and they do crazy things to attract the audiences, which in itself is not bad, because you need to do something unique to attract audiences. But if it has the capability of soiling your future reputation, it's also an opportunity for you to have a rethink and think, is this really worth it down the road? Away from the immediate gains, which are not really worth much. Do I really need to do this? Do I really need to risk this for the purpose of this initial audience stunt that I'm trying to pull? So that's why I don't really like the concept of shameless marketing. The act where you have to do something extremely crazy to attract people to gain traffic to your page, because there are also audience members who get irritated by extremism. So in a bid to gain people's attention, you could actually be chasing away certain customers who think that we are too crazy to earn their trust, particularly if you are marketing certain level of product and services that require your personality and your integrity to count. You're not just a regular seller. You need the trust of the buyer, and you need to command some level of respect and integrity. It could actually have an adverse effect. So the social media, you find people do several things, but everyone is left to their fate. It may not matter today, but who knows, 7 years down the road, the internet never forgets. All of this could count.
Now, a personal question. Now, you're different thing to different people, different persons. And on your page, you can be different thing at the same time. You are a digital marketer, you are a politician, you're a public speaker, you're a pastor, you're a mentor at the same time on the same page. How do you juggle around these things? Like, how do you juggle them?
I don't even know what I am per time. The truth is that to be able to project yourself well, you have to stay real. You have to stay true to yourself. There are instances that I have to call myself to attention and say, hey, people may actually have a different impression of what you are doing, but I tend to worry less about that. I just stay true. I see good food, I eat. I take pictures and I post them. And I say, look, this is good food, and I love I love good food, and I don't do a food blog,
And
but
you've not stained your brand. Your brand is still there.
that's left for the audience to determine, but I just stay real. And maybe I'm going for a program, or like when I went for a fellowship in the United States. I love to capture beautiful moments, and I love to share them because I'm also trying to carry people along in my journeys and in my adventures, and also allow them have a fair share of my space, and to also learn a thing or two. So I try to capture those moments. Of course, I watch out for things that could temper on my privacy or can endanger my person. But I just stay real. I just stay true. And I think that that's the most authentic way to market on the social media. Once you stay true, once you stay authentic, once you don't fake anything. Well, because once you begin to tell lies, you need to watch out for your lies to be sure that people don't find out that you actually had told lies. And once you stay true to you, the real people who appreciate and admire you will stick on to you. There are others who are going to be, okay, probably he doesn't match to my class, or probably I don't like him for that. You can't please everybody. But once you stay true, there are people who are going to come around and say, okay, this is how this guy operates. And the advantage of that is that tomorrow, if people say something different about you, they're going to say, no, we know this guy. These are things that he's capable of doing, and these are things that he's not capable of doing. But people also think that they know everything about you based on the social media. No, it is only what you want people to see that you put out there. There is still a life of yours that is absolutely not on the social media space. So if you want to gain true, genuine followers, it's important that you stay real. It's important that you stay sane, you stay decent. People are going to distill different parts of you. You called me a pastor. I'm not a pastor. I'm just a lover of Jesus Christ. I'm a believer, and I feel that on my platforms I should be able to inspire people with the good news and permanently defend the name of Jesus Christ. And I think that people should love this man who came to give his life for all of us to be redeemed. Yes, you don't need to go to church to be successful, but even the success that you enjoy, comes from him. Whether you acknowledge Jesus Christ or not, that success you're enjoying is courtesy of him, and he gives it to everybody once you follow the principles of success. Because why you find Christians not do well is that they appreciate and embrace the person of Jesus and don't embrace the principles. But if you're able to marry the principles, in those principles you find success, you find prosperity, you find a good life. And in the person of Jesus, you find salvation that takes you to heaven. So once you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you are sure of going to heaven. But if you don't accept the principles that he has already enunciated, like the principles like blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Once you are meek, once you are humble, once you are authentic, people are going to like you. People are going to stick with your brand. So that's a marketing principle. But nobody follows that. He also said, look, I am a walker. My father walks. Me too, I walk. So once you don't appreciate the principles of hard work, of diligence, of excellence, you're not also going to do well. So you embrace the person of Jesus, you go to church, you worship him, but you must also accept his principles. It is his principles that lead you to the good life. His principles entails that you go in to study for 4 years. If you stay concentrating on the studies and read your books and have good grades, you have better opportunities open up for you. You can apply for, they say the entry qualification is a 2-1. You are not left out. They say it's a 2-2. You are not left out. They say it's a master's degree. You also have. So you are not shortchanging yourself in any way. So those are some of the messages that we use the social media to pass. So in passing a success principle, I could use a biblical background. And whether you see me as a pastor that time, or as a marketer, or as a social media enthusiast, the choice is left for the audience.
Now, when we are back from this break, I would like to know more about your trip to the US, because I remember that I attended your 35th birthday, and you said some striking things, and I would like you to actually enunciate on them more. Thank you very much. When we are back.
Welcome to Netisens.
Over 50% of Nigeria's population lack digital skills. Netisens was started in order to close this gap right here in Uyo through our impactful training programs and services.
At Netisens ICT, we impact the tech ecosystem by providing inclusive solutions and grooming tech talent to solve problems in the tech ecosystem.
We have created a comfortable space where people can come in, learn, or do business with us.
Stop in anytime to check out our studio for your podcast or video content. A green screen and a team of professionals at your disposal.
At Netisens, we are unique,
creative,
vibrant,
Innovative.
and inclusive.
All right, welcome back. Like I said earlier, my guest is somebody you want to listen to every time as I'm enjoying the conversation. But please do not forget to like, to subscribe, and to put on the notification bell on this channel. Every week we ensure that we drop amazing content you not want to miss. Now, back to my guest. So, when you came back from US after your honor by the United States Department, they were told, during your birthday, you said things that were very striking. Very, very striking. And I could remember one of those things you said is that a man has to choose his mentor. Oh no, you can choose your destiny helper. I don't know if you remember anything like that. And since then, I've been thinking about that concept. Why did you make such statements?
I actually think that my advice for the people of this generation is that you need connections to go far in life. And there are different types of capital. You know, when starting a business or a venture, we all know that capital is very key. But we usually focus too much on financial capital. There are other sources of capital. There is natural capital, like natural resources, like the sunlight you enjoy. You know, once the sun doesn't shine, nothing operates on the universe. So that's capital on itself. And it's free, fortunately. And again, we have digital capital, we have intellectual capital. If you invest in it, you have it for free. Any knowledge that gets into your system stays with you permanently forever. But the one I want to emphasize on is social and relational capital, which for me is almost the best capital, sometimes even better than financial capital, or leads you to financial capital, because most of us come from backgrounds that the finances are not there. So we have to leverage in one way or the other. And the best way to leverage on our relational and social capital is to be deliberate about it, is to create relationships that are beneficial, not selfish relationships that you want to immediately extract selfish goals. And one of such means is through mentorship. Mentorship that in every field of endeavor, you should identify somebody that you love, somebody that you appreciate, somebody that has grown, someone that is already where you intend to be, and model after that person. The person could actually be a distant mentor or a mentor that you can engage on one-on-one. A distant mentor in that you read the person's books, you listen to his audio messages, you listen to his video messages, you follow him and his trajectory, his biography, everything about his life and time. You may not be able to reach out to him one-on-one. And there are also mentors that are within reach. They are not necessarily there, but they're on the pathway that you need to be. So you medical doctor, there should be a doctor you submit to. There should be a doctor you're modeling after. In the law profession, in broadcasting, in every aspect of life, there are people that you can model yourself after. And let me tell you, once you deliberate about mentorship, there are several problems that you're going to avoid. A lot of bottlenecks that you overcome because you learn from their experiences, and you can also benefit from their recommendations, having served them, because at that time you have to earn the recommendation. So mentorship is not the same thing as working to get paid. It's about volunteering. It's about staying connected. I mean, you are a student and you intend to be a lecturer. You get close to the lecturer who is your mentor. You can help your mentor to mark scripts. You can help your mentor to invigilate exams. You can help your mentor to do his research. And the truth is that in the process, you are going to be learning the real practical aspects of lecturing. You're a medical doctor. You should also get closer to a senior consultant, and you're able to learn from him. You're able to assist him. He can send you on errands to run, go cover for him and all of that. Do you know the truth? Once there is an opportunity in that field of endeavor, that mentor is most likely to recommend you.
It's true.
And so that's the connection we're talking about. You may not have been born with the connection, but you can deliberately create your connections. You can create your destiny helpers by opting to learn, by opting to be mentored. That's why the Igbo apprenticeship system is judged to be about the best business model because it is rooted in mentorship. That guy comes from the village in the southeast and serves the uncle in town and serves for 5 to 7 years, and within that period he's able to learn practical things. He learns principles of accounting, he learns customer care, he learns things that may not be taught in the best business schools, and after 5-7 years he graduates and is being settled in quote. Not necessarily that the uncle is going to give him all the money, but the same contacts that supply and do business with the uncle can now trust him to do business with him because they have seen him learn within the process. He's been recommended well. So you go to that Emeka's shop and you discover that Emeka has left his master, but his shop is now full. No, not because he owns everything in the shop. The same people who used to supply his master noodles and sugar and soda drinks now supply him because they trust him. They can bring these things to his store and put them there, knowing that when they come back 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks after, he has sold some aspect of it, gives them their money, and they restock him. So he has his place permanently full. And you are here blaming your uncles for not accepting and helping you. The truth is that, have you assisted your own uncles? They have children who are in secondary and primary schools. You are a graduate. Do you go to teach those ones lessons? Do you help him wash his cars? Do you help him iron his clothes? What value have you added to his life that he has a sense of the fact that he's owing you and looks out for opportunities to help you, and hears that there is a job somewhere in an oil company and say, no, I have a wonderful niece or nephew that should get this job, and goes out of his way to recommend you to get that job because he trusts in your work ethics, he trusts in your integrity and all of that. So mentorship is one of the surest parts to, and I have personally benefited from it. So I'm not telling you things that are abstract. So the only way you want to break out of your age range, of your class, is to begin to align with people who are already at the top, because at that level they are not scared of you. It's not like being with your mates that are competitive. So you are in a good place, and usually the big people are willing to find people who come close to them, not for money, but to just learn. You disarm them with your love for learning, so they are going to be sharing experiences with you, sharing contacts with you, sharing in your successful journey. And I tell you, that pathway is the surest path to self-reliance and success.
Wow, this is a bomb. I always say you're a delight to listen to anytime, any day. Now, finally, before we go, based on your exposure and the things you've done, the things you've seen both within and outside Nigeria, can you advise somebody in a career path?
Choosing a career path can be very challenging. But one of the things you must watch out for are your natural inclinations, the things that you can do quite easily on one path, your career path. And the next thing which I emphasize very often is the market. Look out for the problems that exist in the society. If your talents are not aligned to solving a problem, you need to look for another talent, because luckily enough, God has bestowed us with several talents. So you just need to discover the talent that aligns with the market, that aligns with the needs of the people. I ask people often, do you think Dangote really likes salt and sugar and noodles and cement? Do you really think he has so much passion for all those products? No, he's reacting to the market. So he brings his talents, he brings his resources to solve a human problem, and is the richest man in Africa at the moment. And he saw that there is a lacuna in the petroleum industry. He has a refinery now. So it's the same thing with you. There's no need holding on to that talent and waiting for 20 years. If the need for it is not really there in the economy, there's no need remaining a poet and writing poems when people don't want to listen to poems, or insisting that you must be a musician when people care about crayfish more than listening to music. So you must study your environment and apply your talents, pay time. Probably there's going to be some time in the future where that music talent is going to come alive. But for now, you need to survive. So probably you need to package excellent akara and sell and make money first. And maybe at some point in time when you've created some comfort, you can now sing for the love of it. And I tell you, it could blossom from there. So one is to get your passion right, to get your talents and improve upon them. And most importantly, to ensure that you are solving a real human problem. So the money you make is what people pay you for solving a problem. And people don't hesitate to pay for problem solvers. Once you are able to offer solution to people's problems, they are willing to part away with their money for you. So nobody's going to give you money out of sympathy and say, oh, he suffered too much. He's been in this music industry for 20 years. Hey, yeah, let's do a go fund him for that kind of person. That's not how to flourish on a career path. You flourish by you do something amazing. People like it. They are not prompted. They click download and you make your money. So you must be sure that you are creating value, and this is value that people are actually looking for.
Wow, wonderful. Now, before you go, what will you advise your 20-year-old self?
What I would have advised my 20-year-old self would have been to be more confident in my abilities, to have been more sure of myself. We grew up with a lot of insecurities. We grew up with a lot of doubts about ourselves. We didn't know that probably the best way to be where we are is just to stay authentic. At some point in time, we just try to blend in here and there, try to be what others were. But along the line, I've seen that if you stay true, if you stay authentic, if you really stay to your real self, people will celebrate you for being the real you. And they will even pay to enjoy you just being yourself and nothing more. So if we were to go some years backwards, we would have been even more stubborn and radical in doing the things that we ought to have done. There are some things we're doing now, we're like, we should have done it 10 years before now, and people would have taken it. But it's never too late to be yourself and just to stay authentic. The audience has no option than to take you for who you are.
Beautiful. On that note, we'll come to the end of today's episode. But please do not forget to like, subscribe, and put on the notification bell, because every week we drop amazing content. And also do not forget that the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who did not go to school or those who will not go to school, but they are those who have refused to evolve as their environment is evolving. My name is Providence Essien. See you again.